This one is very intense. I didn't even want this in my bedroom with me. Hello and welcome to this reading vlog. Today's Friday. I just got back from a hike and I took today off work. I have decided, I decided as of last month, that on months where we don't have national holidays that I am going to take a Friday off a month. That's like a me day, a free day, do whatever I want. And hopefully I stick with that. Yeah, so today is Friday. Got some chores done around the house, worked on some YouTube stuff, got out for a hike, plan to spend the rest of the evening reading after I make a pizza. So I'm gonna try an arugula pizza. I bought flatbread, so I'm not making the dough. I found this really simple recipe from Life with Ayla Rianne, I think it is. I do have two sauces I'm gonna try. I have a marinara sauce that I'm gonna do on one of the flatbreads, and then I'm gonna try a pesto sauce on the other and kind of see which one I like better. I think I'll like them both. Then mozzarella cheese, arugula, cherry tomatoes, and balsamic glaze. So that's what I'm gonna do next because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since I had an early lunch around 11 and I probably burned quite a few calories on my hike, but well, it was really more of a trail walk than a hike. I did get pretty heated though. I was pretty sweaty. Forgot my watch, so I don't really know the details of it. That's the downfall there. I finished the Bandit Queens on my hike. I'm kind of thinking I want this vlog to be mostly horror. I did need to finish the Bandit Queens though because I only had it on loan from the library for a couple more days and I just needed to knock it out. So I did that. Then I wanted to start The Perfect Child, which I had mentioned in my April TBR video, but had unfortunately not downloaded it to my phone, and because I was where I didn't have a good signal, I couldn't do that. That wasn't gonna work out. So I ended up starting The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. I had it through my library, and honestly the premise isn't that far apart from what drew me to The Perfect Child, which is why I chose to start that one. The synopsis is that Chrissy is 8 and she has a secret. She has just killed a boy. And that's literally how the book starts, is with Chrissy's act of strangulation on this boy. We don't know why other than she just seems to be evil. That feeling made her belly fizz like soda pop. And then we're in that timeline where she's a little kid, and then we're in the 20 years later timeline where she herself has a little kid. And right off the bat, she is getting phone calls that it would appear people are trying to find her. So the past is catching up to her. I could take it or leave it at this point. I'm only about 9% into it. the thing I like about the Perfect Child synopsis is that it sounds to me like it's from the parents' perspective, the adoptive parents or foster parents, I'm not sure which, of this child that is, maybe doesn't quite have the psyche we would expect of a child. So those are the audiobooks that I'm interested in or have started by now. So I want to keep going with those while I continue to hike. I do plan to hike tomorrow and possibly again on Sunday. I'm trying to take advantage of the really nice weather we're having. Today was in the 70s, tomorrow's supposed to be in the 80s, and then I think Sunday the 70s again. I'm not quite sure. The physical book I'm reading, which I'm going to pick up after dinner tonight, is The Black Farm. I got about 45 pages into this one so far. And this one we're following Nick. It begins with Nick and Jess. They are grieving the loss of a child, the loss of a pregnancy, and a series of other unfortunate events that have them struggling to catch their breath. So they decide to take their own lives together. And Nick does die. And when he wakes up, he is in the Black Farm. Where I am now in this book, we have a general understanding of what the Black Farm is. And he has evaded an attack by one of the creatures that is there that tried to kill him, which you can die in this place, but then you are like basically reborn into it again, like you can't get out. And he has now met up with another human that is there, another lost soul that is there, a woman, and his goal is to find Jess because he believes that she is also there. So this one is very intense. I started it 2 nights ago and got the 45 pages in. Then it was time to go to bed. I didn't even want this in my bedroom with me, so I left it downstairs and picked up a lighter book. I think it's called When Stars Align. That's the one that I got on Amazon's First Reads. So I think it publishes next month, probably May 1st or something. So that's what I've been reading before bed. And yeah, I'm going to stop talking your ear off and let's go make that pizza. Hopefully it turns out well. I will let you know. You're going to be along with me on the process. And if hanging out with me this weekend sounds fun to you, I hope it does. Please stick around and we're going to try to foster some healthy habits this weekend. I have really been lax on that for at least the last 6 months. And I really want to get back on track and I want to stay on track, making healthier choices like eating whole foods, real foods instead of frozen or prepackaged, drinking more water, getting out into the fresh air, taking hikes, reading instead of watching a lot of TV. So it's almost like a spring reset, you guys. Let's move on into the kitchen and make something good. And maybe we'll even have a visitor. He's right here, but he's very comfortable off in the corner. The baby. Hi. Say hi. Lovely. Such a good baba.
Try to burn me down, but my spirit just refine like a phoenix from the ash. Find my strength from within. I am stronger than before. I know. Let it go. Rise, rise, rise. relief, winter sleep, spring new life, summer thrive. Rise, rise,
The pesto one is delicious. Now I'm going to try the marinara. Kind of messy. They are both so good. I prefer the pesto one just a little bit more, but it's nice to have the variety. Oh my gosh, how easy, healthy-ish, maybe a little high in fat, but at least it's real food. Normally I'm sticking a frozen pizza in the oven. So I'm gonna say 9 out of 10. Mommy's trying to film. Oh, the babe. No, oh, you don't want mommy to read it? Is it too scary? Yeah, it is scary. I'm trying to show the people the warning. The warning.
open air. Side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love, remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back, honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen in all the colors. Summer love, memories washed in every shade of green in all the colors. Summer love. Remember the lazy river day canoe, bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove. That's sure something I could use.
So I just got back home. It's almost noon. I sort of front loaded my day today. Got some laundry, dishes, the unfun stuff done early on. Got some editing done, which I do find fun, but can be very time consuming. And then intended to do a trail run, but got very distracted by all the birds I was seeing around, and they were just like the little chirps they were making. I couldn't not stop and just take it in, and I kind of look at that as like, that's okay, that's being present and listening to my mind and body. So I still did a couple miles, but took it at a really slow pace. I did switch over to The Perfect Child from the first day of spring. I just couldn't really get excited about starting that one back up. So I'm not sure percentage-wise how far I'm into this one because it's on Audible, but I am on chapter 8, almost at the end of chapter 8, and have almost 6 hours left in the book, listening to it at 1.5 times speed. Immediately, I am vibing much more with this story. I knew I was in the mood for it, so we're just going with it. I really like it so far. We get, I think it was a prologue from the social worker, and then chapter 1 starts with the perspective of Hannah, I think her name is, who is a nurse, and she's married to Christopher, who is a doctor. And very quickly into the story enters this little girl who is found abandoned nearby, wearing only a diaper. She appears to be a toddler and is in very rough shape, has clearly been malnourished for some time and barely has any hair, yada, yada, yada. Very upsetting. She ends up in the hospital. Christopher immediately has like an affinity for her, very protective of her. Immediately, I think, is feeling fatherly towards her. So he sort of drags Hannah into this, and she reluctantly meets this little girl. She's very nervous too, given how attached Christopher already is. She's nervous. What if this little girl doesn't like me? And yeah, you can immediately tell there's definitely something wrong with this child mentally, but we're not sure yet if it has to do with the abuse and neglect that she went through before being found, or if it maybe is something more sinister. Sort of feels like it's teetering on that, so that you're wondering. I really like it. I'm gonna probably not continue with it today because it is an audiobook and I want to get back to this one, which I did not make much more progress in this last night. So definitely want to make more progress in this one today. Not sure if I'll finish it, but I certainly could. And I will definitely keep you updated. And I have tons of leftover pizza from last night. I do plan to maybe reheat that for lunch, but I'm gonna try to figure out how to get as much of the tomato and arugula off so that when I heat it, it doesn't get all gross. I just don't want to eat it cold. I'm just not like a cold pizza girly. Not that there's anything wrong with it if you are. So I'm gonna eat something. I'm gonna get out of my outdoorsy clothes here, get into probably almost pajamas, and just pretty much chill and read for the rest of the day. Drink a ton of water because I probably did not drink enough when I was out. Hang out with Pixie, and I will be back soon with a reading update. is almost 6 o'clock at night. I have the oven preheating, and no, I'm not reheating more pizza. I still have more pizza, but I just feel like having something lighter for dinner. So I'm going to be heating up some lightly breaded chicken breasts and probably having that with a summer salad. It's like a prepackaged salad. That's pretty much the only salads I eat. I like all the ingredients that they put into those, and it's just more economical and less waste if I buy it that way than buying all the ingredients separate. So a little update. I am about halfway through on this one. I've tabbed it quite a bit. It's easy to read. There are some like editing errors, but I've been tabbing along the way. There's quite a bit of world building, and to help me remember the different locations in the Black Farm, the different creatures, that type of thing. There was a chapter, I want to say it was 5. Let me just double check that. Okay, I think it's like part of chapter 4 and chapter 5. Yes. Okay. So that was a lot. I am liking that as we're getting into the meat of the book, there are little breadcrumbs that we're beginning to see that maybe it's not a pointless journey that Nick is on to find Jess or to find their way out. I'm very eager to see what happens as this character has basically gone from total despair in his life to waking up in death, terrified, to being broken down to basically subhuman levels and being reborn into this like vengeful assassin. I'm very eager to see what happens with that. And there is another character in this book that I wasn't sure how big a part he was going to play at the beginning. His name is Danny, and he touts himself the owner of the Black Farm, even though it's not his creation. He seems to be sort of the gatekeeper, and their continued interaction throughout this story also has me very intrigued. On the surface, it would seem that it's one thing, but I'm wondering if it might be something else. So definitely, like the warning at the beginning of the book says, not for the faint of heart. Definitely not. Let's go make a nice light dinner. No more pizza for me. I'll have that probably for lunch tomorrow. And I'll either see you again after dinner or I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. It is mid-morning. Actually, what time is it exactly? 11. I am struggling with motivation a little bit today to get outside. It's a bit overcast, even though the temperatures are super comfortable. I think that if I do get outside today, it's going to be to try out my rollerblades that I discussed in my April TBR video. I picked up rollerblades after not rollerblading in many, many years. I'm a bit nervous to get back on them. I need to attach the brake to one, so it's like finding the motivation to attach the brake and then also to get out and risk death. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Reading update. I have gotten further in both my books. I forgot that The Perfect Child is also on Kindle Unlimited, so I actually read this in bed last night instead of the When Stars Align that I had been going to at night to read on my Kindle. That was like a little bit lighter. So I'm on chapter 22 of this now. That is about 38% into the book. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this today, but I do think I'm going to be able to finish this one. I'll definitely, like, at the close of this vlog, be talking about all my progress in this one and then wrapping up that one. But what I'm liking about The Perfect Child is we are in alternating perspectives of Christopher and Hannah, who are the foster then adoptive parents to, I don't know why I have, oh, Janie. I have a hard time remembering her name. I guess I feel like the name Janie just for some reason doesn't fit this little girl. So we're in both their perspectives. We are also getting interviews with the social worker who was on this case. Clearly something has happened that she is being interviewed by the police. That's something that starts right off the bat, so no spoilers. And I'm liking the tension in this one as they spend more time with this little girl. It's interesting to see the dynamic between Christopher and Hannah change. All along, Christopher was definitely the one who was more gung-ho about this decision to take on this responsibility of caring for this child. And we know right off the bat that Janie was most likely abused by her mother, and this has led her to have animosity towards Hannah that she didn't initially show, which shows quite a bit of manipulation for her age. That's definitely keeping my interest. I would really like to get this one finished. I just don't know if that's realistic, so we'll see. This one, let's see. As you can see, I have tabbed it quite a bit. Like I mentioned in our last chat, it mainly is world building, but also different characters' motivations, things of that nature that I'm tabbing in this one, because I have suspicions about where this is going, and I kind of am tabbing the clues that are leading me to that conclusion. So yeah, let's talk about it. First, I'll just say what page I'm on. I am on page 218. I really think that the author does a great job with the atmosphere in this book. It feels very claustrophobic and oppressive. This is done through a fairly good description of the surroundings and the constant reminder of the wetness and dreariness of this place. It's constantly raining, and the world building does continue to impress me. Like, I want to know what everything means and how it's all going to come together. While I doubt everything's going to be tied up in a neat little bow, I don't expect that or want that from this story. I am curious to see how things tie together. The side characters are, apart from one, coming across pretty flat, but I'm wondering if that's intentional. It's actually making me suspect the validity of what Nick is experiencing. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but it is keeping me turning the pages, wanting to find out. This one has definitely captivated me. It is very gory, but it's not like turning me off to the book. Everything feels like it is there for a reason, for the development of the story and for this character. So looking forward to finishing this one up. I'm probably going to maybe make a tea or something, get a little further into this, see if I can get myself motivated to put the brake on my rollerblade and then go rollerblading. Stay tuned. Rollerblading adventures, and I have also finished The Black Farm. So let's chat about both. The rollerblading went actually surprisingly well. I, for one thing, didn't fall, which is better than I thought was gonna happen. I was like wishing I had like padded pants on or something, because I feel like if I fall, it's gonna be right on my rear end. And what's funny is I decided to stay in my neighborhood because I was like, if I fall and hurt myself, I don't want to be that far from my house, and I don't want to have to like drive myself home or worse. So I stayed in my neighborhood, and like every person and their mother was out doing like yard work and stuff, which I should have been doing, and instead I was just having a good time. So that was a little embarrassing as I was like trying to get the hang of it again. And because I'm only just getting back into trail running again and hiking, my shins are just not up to par, and they were definitely feeling tired as I was skating uphill. And I did not do anything too steep. I'm just kind of a scaredy cat, I guess. When I was a kid, I just flew around and didn't care. So that's definitely changed. But I do think it's going to be great exercise. I do want to get more comfortable with it though before I'm like going off doing anything too crazy. I did, like I said, finish the Black Farm. I couldn't help but just be the tiniest bit let down as this one ended, because I did feel as though there were little hints dropped that there was going to be something bigger than what happened. But that's my own expectations. So I feel like I'm gonna need a little bit of time to think about this, like maybe just see if this book is something that I continue to think about over the next day or two. I don't always need that time with a book. Sometimes I know immediately what the rating is, but I do feel like this is gonna fall somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4 for me, which definitely means I enjoyed it. For me, a 2.5 is like the average. That's halfway, right, to a 5. So I did enjoy this one. Things that I enjoyed about it, I really like our main character, Nick. I did really appreciate a lot of the self-reflection that he goes through throughout this novel. Whether that is his own conscience and he's working through things with his own conscience, or if it is some other entity that is in his head while he is in this place, we'll never know. And he does everything in his power to help his girlfriend, I believe. I don't think they got married. I think that's actually one of the things that he is working through. Yes, really enjoyed Nick as a character. Side characters, like I said, felt very flat to me. So triggers, I'm not going to talk about the triggers that are in this book because I really don't want to give away anything. And for me, I avoid trigger warnings because I feel like they set an expectation of what I'm going to read in the book, and I just don't like that. It feels like a spoiler to me. I had a general idea of what would be in this book and felt like none of it felt excessive, like it was just trying to be gross or terrible. It all felt like it was for the progression of the story, and they were in a terrible, terrible hellscape. Another thing I really liked about this book, the world building's so interesting. I felt the suspense in this book pretty much throughout, and definitely like the last third of the book, I was turning the pages furiously, wanting to find out what was going to happen. I just, again, want to see, I can't tell if this is going to be a book that like I literally forget about the next day, a couple days from now. And that's the problem with trying to wrap a book up as soon as you finish it. But I did want to let you guys know what I thought. I could not like leave you hanging like that at the end of this vlog. The Perfect Child, I'm definitely eager to get back to that one. I plan to, it's almost dinner time. I'm gonna probably just eat leftover salad or something like that. I might make, I have mushroom ravioli and I have extra marinara sauce left over from the pizza. And then I'm probably gonna bring my pizza with me for lunch tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna continue with The Perfect Child. Eager to get back to that. I'm really liking that one. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this weekend. Let me know, are you prioritizing the same types of things? I'm so curious. If we're all kind of in that, you know, spring motivation mindset, let's hope I can hang on to it for a little while. And again, thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you all soon in the next video. Bye.